Hi class, Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Welcome to my class, Software Project Management uh, BIP 3223. Today we'll cover chapter 3 and what is inside in the chapter 3 is we will discuss about the software project management process. Yeah, we will compare between software project life cycle and software development life cycle. Okay. So this is a contents. So when you award a project and then you become a software project manager, so this is two thing, different thing that you have to understand. Yeah? One is a system development life cycle and another one is project life cycle. So, what is the difference between project lifecycle and system development lifecycle or software development lifecycle? So, we will touch about the project lifecycle first. I will describe regarding project lifecycle, and then we will discuss how the system development lifecycle will be adapt in the project lifecycle. Okay, in many projects. Um, When you manage a project, either project civil engineering project or software projects, so this is a common phases involved in the project life cycle, which is concept or initiation, development and planning, implementation, execution, and project closure. So this is a traditional project life cycle, which is consists of four phases. So, project life cycle is a collection of project phases, yeah? And each phases have defined work that need to be done as agreed in the project plan. So, any typical projects, so this is a generic phases involved in the project life cycle. So, either you are managing the civil engineering project like bridge, highway, yeah, developing the development of 100 level of building, yeah. So this is normally four phases involved in the project life cycle. So it's different with the system development life cycle, yeah. So we understand first what is the project life cycle. So first, when you start the project, so you must initiate it. Initiate means you start the project by providing the infrastructure. You prepare the infrastructure. You prepare the office, for example, that's under infrastructure. So you start to hire the staff, yeah, which uh, will involve in the projects. Okay, so if you manage the project, software project, normally they start with the uh, feasibility study. Yeah, you will conduct the uh, analysis of the system to be developed, whether it is feasible or not for the country or for the company. Okay, and then after that, you move to the development phase or planning phase. In the project, they call it planning phase, where you organize and preparing the project team, the project organization, for example, uh, job descriptions, yeah, and everything that relate to the project development. Yeah. For example, you prepare the Gantt chart, you prepare the milestone, yeah, you prepare the uh, numbers of time, a number of days, man days involved in the certain activities, in certain tasks. Yeah, you define the artifact to be delivered. Yeah, uh, in somewhere project, so you will define what to be delivered in the planning stage, what to be delivered in the analysis phase, what to be delivered in the design phase. Example, in design phase, you need to deliver the SDD. In analysis phase, you need to deliver the SRS. In planning stage, you need to deliver the SDP. Yeah. So this is a plan and the development of the project during this phase. And then you need to execute, yeah, execute the plan. When you plan, then you present to the top management and also the user, so they agreed with your plan, so you execute it. For example, you start with the launching of the project, and then you start to construct the software requirement analysis with the user. Yeah, you carry out the projects as defined in the software or project development plan. So this is a project life cycle involved. So once you complete your project, the project nearly finished, so you start to prepare the uh, project closure activity or project termination activity, such as you will conduct the TOT program, transfer of technology program to the technical person. Yeah, this is related to the software project. Yeah, so and then you start conduct the training to the end user how to use the system and etc. So you start to update the uh, documentation. Okay? You need to update the SRS, the SRA, the SDD. Yeah, because the project maybe took 1 year or 2 years to be completed. So in the middle of the project, of course, a lot of requirement change. So you need to update the uh, artifact that you change along the project process. So this is a project life cycle, common project life cycle class. You need to understand and remember initiation, planning, execution, and close out. Okay. So what is a project phases and why this project phases is very important. So that's why in project life cycle they divide into 4 phases. So why? Because project phases are easy to manage the risk. Yeah, when you divide the project, for example, the project for 1 year, you divide into several phases. Yeah, maybe you got 20 modules, so you divide the module uh, into 4 phases. Okay, each of the phases consists of 5 modules, for example. This is an example. So you start to develop the first 4 module. Yeah, rather than you develop uh, concurrently for 20 module. Yeah, when you compare, when you want to manage the project, instead of 4 module, a 5 module compared to 20 module is very difficult. Yeah, very difficult and very complex, okay, to execute it. So when you divide the project into phases, yeah, example, this can help you to manage the risk. Yeah. The risk for 5 modules is less than a risk for 20 modules. Okay, so let's say in first iteration or in first phase, you will face two or three problem. Yeah, and then this problem may be repeated in other module or in other phases. So by dividing the project into phases, so you can have a lesson learned. You can reuse the solution maybe for another phases. And the objective of the project phase is to manage the complexity of the system. Yeah, and also you manage the expectation of the user. So by dividing the project into small pieces, the expectation to the user is very easy to handle. Yeah, and also the budget can be divided into 4 phases, and you can manage the project accordingly. And project phases also can manage the time consumed. Uh, let's say 5 module. After you complete the 5 module, you can you can manage to speed up the development of the software by reuse the approach or methodology in another phases. Okay, what is the system development life cycle class? Just now we already discussed about the project life cycle and where the system development life cycle exists in the project life cycle. So this is a methodology. Uh, this is a methodology, yeah, how to uh, manage or how to facilitate the project. So the system development life cycle is a system methodology to help the software project manager to develop the system. Yeah. So when you execute your project, yeah, uh, concept, development, implementation, and close out. So the system development life cycle is exist in all the phases of the project life cycle. Let's say when you start with the initiation of the project life cycle, so and then you adopt one of the methodology, software development methodology, for example, waterfall process. So uh, you will execute the waterfall life cycle step in the project life cycle. For example, during the initiation, yeah, during the planning, and etc. Okay, so the system development life cycle is the detailed process or detailed approach how you want to develop a system, a software. So you can choose any type of methodology, whether waterfall, iterative process, yeah, rational unified process, extreme, and agile. Uh, and this methodology is help you to meet to facilitate how you develop the software project. So I hope you can differentiate between project life cycle and system development life cycle. Okay, the project life cycle is the typical process in managing any project. Yeah? Not only software, but it used for civil engineering project or other projects. Okay, so what is the system development life cycle is a methodology So either you don't want to use the uh, methodology proposed by the computer science scientists, you can proceed with the system development project by using the typical system development life cycle. Okay, but system development life cycle is very generic. But if you apply or use waterfall process, it will show you, it will guide you a specific process, how to perform certain tasks. Yeah, so this is different between system development life cycle and the system development life cycle methodology. Yeah, this is a contribution from the computer science scientists. They simplify the system development life cycle by introducing a new methodology. Yeah. So it is not wrong or right. Uh, or we can say that it is not wrong that if you don't want to apply any methodology proposed by the scientists, you develop the software using the system development lifecycle uh, method, system development lifecycle in general. In general, so there are many methodology in the market nowadays. Yeah? Example, waterfall process is a long method. Long is a uh, it used since 1988 when I was in the company. Use the waterfall process. Yeah, waterfall methodology. It's very good, but it's very bad masters. Yeah, good servant and bad masters. You They can guide you how to develop a system, but very difficult to manage because the waterfall process is very structured. Uh, you cannot proceed to other phases if you still not finish in the current phases. Yeah, it's like waterfall. If the water is not fulfill that level, so you cannot jump into another level. So iterative process is very good methodology because it's not like a waterfall. It can it can be uh, it can be start the project if the requirement is not complete yet. For example, you got 20 module, so it take time to complete the requirement. Yeah, so if the user can say you can proceed with the 5 modules, so you can start with the 5 module, and after you finish the 5 modules until the development, until the deployment, then you can start another module, another 5 module with the same process. You need to start from the analysis, design, development, testing, and deployment. So the iterative process is continuing process, yeah, until you complete the 20 module, for example. Yeah, but the beauty of the iterative process, they have let's say 20 module, you divide into 5 iterative. So from iterative 1 to iterative 2, you got a lot of experience, yeah, to develop the software, and then you got a lot of lesson learned. So from the iterative 1 lesson learned, so you can bring to the iterative 2, and a lot of problems, issues, and also the technical issue is already resolved in the iterative 1. Then when you go to iterative 2, 3, and 4, it become fast, yeah? And then you can speed the development process. So this is another methodology, rational unified process, RUP. This methodology is very comprehensive. Yeah, even I also have experience for this methodology for the national project last time. So what we need to do is we have to cut down the process. Yeah, cut down means we customize the RUP to suit our requirement, yeah, and also to suit with the project size. So we cannot follow everything. Yeah? If you follow everything, so your project will be dragged because you keep busy with the RUP deliverable. RUP use a lot of documentation. They need they have to not to say have they put a lot of artifact to be delivered by uh, the developer. Uh, okay, so RUP is good process, but you need to customize it for your need. Yeah, and nowadays extreme programming is very famous, and also the agile. So extreme programming is suit for the technical people who doesn't like the thick documentation. So extreme programming normally they plan, they do the design and develop. Yeah, and from the extreme programming, the scientists produce the agile software development approach, which is very flexible. Okay, whether let's say you develop a small system, so you only need to produce 2 or 3 documentation only. If the project is large, so you customize it. You a la carte the methodology for a big project. So, class, I hope you understand now. Okay, what is the project life cycle and what is the system development life cycle? So, system development life cycle is very dedicated for the uh, software project, yeah, or system development project. So, system development life cycle is within the project life cycle. Okay, so what is a system development lifecycle roles? Is to provide the guidance, specify the artifact, direct the task, and offer the criteria for monitoring and measuring the project, product, and activities. So by implementing the system development lifecycle, either you use waterfall, or you use iterative, or you use RUP, you use agile. Uh, it's actually the objective is to provide guidance uh, to the software team or software developer how to manage and develop a system in a proper way. Okay, so system development lifecycle methodology define the worker who is the uh, person involved in the project, and it define the workflow. Workflow means the step to achieve for a certain deliverable. For example, in analysis stage, what are the deliverable need uh, to be produced? Yeah, for example, SRS review, SRS sign off, and etc. Okay, this is a flow, workflow. How to accomplish for a certain phases in the development life cycle. So system development life cycle also define the activities and artifact. Artifact means any uh, any model, for example, yeah, analysis model, design model, requirement model. So this all is designed by using a tool. For example, you use UML UML uh, script or UML modeling, yeah, unified modeling language diagram, and then you have to keep the information for future reference. Yeah, So artifact is also involved the documentation, for example, SDP, SRS, SDD, software test plan, software implementation strategy, your software testing uh, case, script, software test data, that's all artifact. Your software code, and also the software build, okay, deployment step. So that's all artifact of your software project. Okay, I think I already discussed what is the project methodology. So a methodology describe how things should be done. Uh, so what you need to do in the methodology is you use it as a guide for you to manage the project. Don't use everything. If you think that that methodology is make your development process slow, then you need to customize it. Yeah, select the appropriate activities that can help you, not to burden you by using the methodology. So how you want to use the method? So the methodology is to serve you, not for you to serve. So use it to create a structure, to communicate to the users, managers, team, manage the development process, formalize a plan, okay, and formalize and get the quality plan of the documentation. So when you want to conduct or manage the project, there are 5 project management process that you need to understand, remember, and practice it. Yeah. So there are 5 tasks involved in the project management process. You as a project manager, so you need to know what is the process involved in managing the project. First, you need to initiate it. The first step that when you got this responsibility, so you need first step is you first task that you need to do is initiating. Yeah? That means you set up the project. You need to describe the project, develop a business use case, create the team assignment and team mission, uh, create the major milestone, determine the scope, determine if the project should be divided into smaller project or time and cost constraint. Yeah, from the major milestone, uh, you can uh, you can predict where when the project can be finished. Yeah? When a certain milestone can be delivered, when you can do a prototype to the user. Yeah, and then during the initiation, you need to measure the success and define the critical success factor. What you need for achieving the success. Yeah, example, you need a high skill of programmer, a high skill of project manager, a high skill of system designer, and etc. And during the initiation also, during the startup or initiation process uh, task, so you need to create the operation guideline. Yeah, you need to create the standard operating procedure, how to uh, manage the change, how to manage the design change, how you want to manage uh, the the acceptance of the deliverable, for example, how you want to get the sign off of SRS. So there are operating standard, standard operating procedure need to be implement, yeah, so that the user easily to sign it, and then you can get the sign off easily, yeah, rather than involve a lot of red tape. So you need to design the standard form, a protocol, a committee to be discussed and to be approved. Yeah. So this is a very important guideline to make sure that people know what to do. Yeah. Rather than uh, they just do everything according to their understanding. So no formality, no standard of the procedure, so that uh, make it you difficult in managing the project. So in initiation task, this is five things that you need to prepare. Yeah. So second task in project management process is a plan the work. You plan what to do, what to deliver. Okay, this can be derived in Gantt chart. Yeah. So you develop the work breakdown structure, a project scope statement, task, schedule, duration, responsibility in a Gantt chart. So very easy to present the Gantt chart, and then from the Gantt chart you can show every task where the task should be start and should be finished, and who responsible, how many uh, man hours, and then you can plan well, and it will make yourself easy to monitor, and everyone, you need to share with everyone so that they also aware the schedule of the projects. So you need also to prepare the budget, such as operating cost, asset, inventory, risk planning, what is the risk, uh, hazard, and etc. What is the resolution? Yeah? You need to create the chain management team or section to manage the change, to handle the chain management training and so on. So when you implement or you develop a new software, of course certain business process will be cut off. Yeah. Let's say from before the computerization of the system, there are 10 steps to perform that uh, task. For example, in order to produce, let's say you want to produce one letter, yeah, one letter to the your customer. Let's say doctor want the doctor want to produce a medical report. So there are steps to do. Yeah, last time you have to get the medical record by manual and check the history, write down the history, and get the approval from the senior doctor. Then the the report can be released to the patient. But when you computerize the system, uh, the process of producing the medical report is just in time, right? So you can press the button, then the report can be produced. So this need the change management uh, training, yeah, change management training. Uh, so what the process involved, and what are the process need to be cut and so on. So if all user understand, then it's very easy to implement the system. So another plan or task uh, or work you need to detail out, is the quality plan. Yeah, how the software is tested. Yeah? So firstly, before you execute the software testing, you need to perform or form the software testing committee and the acceptance criteria for getting the good software. Okay. So number three, a task involved in the project management process is you endorse the plan. When you plan it, you need to get the approval or endorsement from your user and also the top management. Then after endorse the plan, so number 4 task is you need to work the plan, you execute the plan, and while execute the plan, so you need to monitor and control the activity. You need to monitor your staff. You need to monitor uh, the tasks that execute during this time. Yeah. So you need to manage the human resource. You need to monitor and control the project, change request, update and update the project documentation. So manage change control, change request, verify and control the scope, schedule, cost, quality, and performance. So this is very important. When user ask for changes or add the requirements, so you need to control it. So you need to monitor and control the risk, administer the procurement. Yeah, you need to make sure that the tendering process is in place. You need to make sure that the good to be delivered by the supplier is on time. Yeah, so you need to make a call, or you need to do a follow up or follow through process with the supplier and etc. And lastly, you need to when you monitor and control or you execute the plan, so you need to communicate the progress, communicate the issues, and get the thing issue or problem as a lesson learned to be used for another phases example. Yeah. So communication is very important to make sure that you aware with the progress and issue happen in the project. So last is task involved in the project management process is a transition and closure. So once the project is toward the end of the timeline, so you need to do some housekeeping. So you need to do finishing of the project. Example, you need to review the document that need to be delivered. Yeah, check list of all the deliverable need to be delivered. Check and get the final of the sign off. Okay, this is very important. If you don't get the sign off, so you cannot bill the customer. Yeah, and get the remaining payment if any. And finally, you need to archive the project artifact for later reference. Okay, maybe these artifacts can be reused for other project. Yeah, is more or less the project process, project activity, project issues, problems is likely same. Yeah, same with the previous project, for example. So from that artifact, is very useful for you to refer, and this will help you to speed up the software development project life cycle. So how you want to control changes? So this is also part of the project management process. Yeah. Um, so I already told you that we have four, oh no, 5 tasks involved the project management. So please make sure that you remember and understand this process. Okay, and how to control the changes? So changes it happen in the project management process. Example, when you execute the plan, so in the middle there are many changes will be happen and will be requested by your user. Yeah, so you need to manage it in proper. Yeah? So don't reject, reject the changes from the user, but you need to manage and control the changes. Okay, so some principle to control the changes, you need to ensure all proposed changes is documented. Yeah, uh, that's why we need change management division to manage this change, to manage the change. So some principle to control the change, so you need to evaluate the request. Okay, you need to understand the business reason. Don't change if you don't understand it. So you need to agree. uh, this can be done in the committee. Check and communicate impact of change, plan the change, communicate changes to everyone. For example, you need to hold a meeting with the user whether these changes is must to have or nice to have. uh, it will not impact the business process and so on. So to be safe in managing the changes, so you need to write everything down, sign off at each stage, make control change visible. Okay, so any new request, so you need to write down. That's why nowadays you need an online system support. Yeah, under some system support, you provide a form for them to fill in the requirement or bugs or errors or issue, so that we can list down all the requests or reports or complaint, and later we can improve the system for the sake of quality, to get the quality system and to fulfill the requirement of the user. Okay, class. In summary, project phase is a division of work or deliverable or function into several stages. So we already discussed about the project life cycle compared to software development life cycle. Yeah. So all life cycle involve phases. So phases is very important for you to manage the project accordingly. Why we need phases? Because we want to make sure that project is success. Yeah? By dividing the project life cycle into phases, will help you a lot. Yeah? It will help you to manage the project uh, in in a proper manner, in a good manner. Yeah, and it will reduce the lot of times. So SDLC methodology describe how software project should be done or developed. So you need to uh, adopt or adapt any methodology that appropriate to your project. Yeah. So don't take 100% of the methodology. Uh, you need to customize it. You need to tailor to your project need. Okay. So you need to cut down the process to meet your company requirements, in in making sure that the project can be success. So prototyping is one of the development methodology. Um, this can be get from the extreme programming methodology, or you can adapt from the uh, agile methodology. Yeah, prototyping is one of the development methodology. There are they have pro and cons by using the prototyping, because a lot of work need to be done, and sometimes the perception of the user need to manage properly, because sometimes they expect that when you do a prototyping, the system is nearly finished. Yeah. So this is very dangerous. So methodology is used to facilitate project members and activities. So you use methodology is to facilitate the software development life cycle, or to facilitate or to help you to manage the software project. Not necessarily you follow everything what the methodology say. So you need to customize, or you need to cut down the methodology proposed by certain type of methodology. Okay, class. I think that's it for chapter 3. You can watch this video as many as you want. Okay, if you don't understand, write the comment in the comment box. So you share this video, subscribe, uh, and see you we see you later in the next video or next chapter.